Just the facts about 5 unique things about Disney Cruise Lines. Well, maybe 6 or 7. These two old grandpas have a real soft spot for the magic of Disney cruises. What do you love about Disney cruises? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy this voyage with us today, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps other folks just like you to find the channel. Hi, Larry. Welcome to Just the Facts on RTE-Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. It's great to be back with you.
It's grand to have you, Larry. So, Larry, I've been thinking a lot lately about one of my probably near and dear to my heart cruise lines, and that's Disney. Now, I know you're a fan and a softie at heart as well. So, I'd like to find out today what your top 5 favorite things about Disney cruise lines is, and maybe you and I can compare a bit. How's that sound?
Sounds great, Ken.
Okay, perfect. So, one thing about Disney that I think, Larry, that most people should know is obviously it's for the young, but it's also for the young at heart. I fondly remember our time on Disney Cruise Lines, and it was absolutely fabulous. And there was all kinds of people on board that didn't have kids. They were just there to enjoy the atmosphere. And it was really, really a wonderful experience. How did you find it, Larry?
I'm in Melbourne, Florida, right next to Orlando. So we live in Mickey's World in Port Canaveral. We're blessed to have 4 Disney ships here. I'd like to point out for many, many years, the number one cruise line for Travel and Leisure magazine's readers was Disney Cruise Line. And that includes luxury cruise lines, that includes all categories. And for a long time, that was Disney. So that just gives you an idea of the quality of the cruise, not only if we don't even include Pluto and Goofy and all those other guys, just the experience, as you said, is really just a wonderful experience.
No, exactly. So I've got a list in my mind about the top 5 things, but I really want to hear from you. What's your top 5 things about a Disney cruise?
And I think what we're going to talk about, Ken, is the things that make Disney totally unique that nobody else does,
Okay.
and I think that's what's really interesting about the cruise line. It all starts with embarkation, at least here in Port Canaveral, which is where most people cruise with Disney. Now they now cruise all over the world, including Alaska and Europe. But we'll just talk about Port Canaveral. Disney has their own terminal here that they've had for many years. It was just refurbished 3 years ago. It is a wonderful terminal. The embarkation process is very unique. Disney was the first cruise line to start embarkation times. So you show up and there's virtually no lines.
Yeah.
They have captured pretty much all your information, and the whole process of checking in is very quick. There are a lot of characters roaming around the terminal. So if you have young children, they get immediately excited about getting on board the ship. Then you go through this long tunnel and you walk out into the atrium of the ship. And there's a person standing there with a microphone, and everybody's like 3 decks high of an atrium. And he announces, "And welcome aboard the Jackson family." And everybody starts applauding. Now, I am of the opinion that how you start a cruise really shapes the way the whole cruise is going to happen. Whether you have a hassle parking, getting your luggage, getting your tickets or your pass card, that sets the whole tone of the cruise. And this sets the tone of the cruise. It makes you just feel wonderful, and you're into a magical place.
I couldn't agree more. And it reminds me of a story when we arrived at the terminal. We were running late, so we're one of the last couples to board the ship. We went up to security, and I was carrying our cruise mascot, which is a a beaver puppet. And our 4-year-old daughter Belle was with us, and the person from security asked us, "Who's that?" And she goes, "That's Justin Beaver." And then obviously you board the ship and you get announced. It's fantastic. So what's next on our list?
Okay, next on our list was a very unique feature of Disney, and that's the Pirate Night. Okay, and a few things that happen on Pirate Night. First of all, in the afternoon, on your bed, you receive a bandana so that you can dress up like a pirate that evening. Now, a lot of Disney cruise aficionados go to great lengths, and they go out and they have costumes, pirate costumes that they wear for their Disney Disney cruise, or they rent costumes. And so as you go along through the afternoon, the whole ship starts to turn into a pirate ship. There's a very special buffet. It starts around 7 o'clock, and it features turkey legs. So everybody can walk around the cruise with a turkey leg going, arg. And so that's then there's a very special show up on the deck, the Pirates of the Caribbean show, a musical show up on the pool deck, and it's all pirates running around and swashbuckling. And then to top off the evening, the ship motors down to neutral, and there's a fireworks show that goes off the side of the ship. Nobody else does fireworks off their ship, and it's a spectacular show. It's not just like a couple of aerials; it goes on for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, I
And,
fondly remember that. Been there, done that, got the bandana. Larry, I bet you
yeah,
look a great pirate.
I tell you what, we've been on Disney, I think, 5 or 6 times, but
Yeah.
one of our best memories was we took our 4-year-old granddaughter
Yeah.
on board. She was all dressed up in a pirate costume. However, she wasn't feeling very well that night, so she couldn't go to dinner, but we took her down to the pirate buffet. The crew found out she was not feeling well, and they just showered her with attention for like an hour,
Yeah.
and so she felt so much better. I cannot say enough about the crew and their attention to children. When you go to your dining room, they just totally ignore the adults and sit down with the child, with their menu, the child's menu, and go over each item and make sure that they make that child feel so special that
Yeah.
there they are in this dining room with their own menu and their own waiter asking them what they want.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It really is. And it's all about the experience. Now, you mentioned that you dressed up the 4-year-old as a pirate. There's also another thing that we really like about Disney cruises. And what is that, Larry? That's the Bibbidi
Yeah, and
Bobbidi.
that goes hand in hand with Pirate Night, and
Yeah,
that's the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and
right.
that's where you can take the children and have a complete makeover, makeup, hair, and then a costume. And they have several different costumes that you can choose, but it's a long experience. Again, the children feel really special, and then that leads into another part. And we're kind of blending together our 5 things, but on the entertainment, one of the features that they do is called the Mickeys, and it's a takeoff on the Emmys. And they have like a red carpet, and they have where the kids come up and they have an announcer with a microphone, just like the red carpet at the Emmys, and they project it in the theater on the video screens, and they interview the children in their costumes, or they can be a princess for that night, or they can be Aladdin. All these things are Bippity Boppity Boop. So that is really special part of the entertainment, the Mickeys and then the red carpet.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Now, when we were on board, and I think that it's on our list today of one of the top things we love about Disney, is we actually had 2 stops at their private island. Tell us a little bit
Oh,
about that.
we now have 2 private islands. The one that we're most familiar with is Castaway Cay. And Disney was the first cruise line to actually dock at their private island. Pretty much everybody does that now, which eliminated the tender operation. It is a fabulous island. It features water parks, slides, none of which there are charged for like some of the other cruise lines do. There are characters all over the island, so the kids can run into Mickey or Minnie and have pictures. There are buffets. A very unique thing about their island is they also have an adults only beach, which features its own buffet and a bar. Again, you don't have to worry about being surrounded by children all the time because you
Yeah,
can then go over to the adults only. One of the very unique things about that island is when you get there, if you happen to be on the port side, you have to look over your balcony and watch the choreography of them taking things off the ship, loading them on little ATVs, and then taking. It is magic to watch this thing, and nobody says a word, and it just goes like clockwork, and people in, out. Nobody runs into you, nobody shouts. It is pure Disney just to watch the disembarkation of the food and the tables.
yeah,
Then, when they leave the island, they leave 5 people on the island to kind of caretake the island, and they all stand out on the pier with big Mickey hands and
yeah.
wave to everybody on the way out, and they're going until we see you again. And you know what, Ken? I just remembered another part of Disney which is very unique, and that's when they arrive or leave a pier, their horn is plays "When You Wish Upon a Star."
Yes.
Their horns are tuned. Their ship's horns are programmed so that the captain can play music with using the ship's horn, which they do when they arrive depart.
All of which serves to create those magical moments, you know?
Yeah, I'll never forget one day we were in St. Thomas and we were sleeping in and we had the curtains closed. We were on another cruise ship and all of a sudden I hear when you wish upon a star and I said, I think Disney's here. It's hard for us to say five things that make Disney unique because as we go along, we think of more and more
No,
things that
you're exactly right. I'm sitting here thinking back, and I've got chills. But again, it's not just about the kids. People have a wonderful time on this.
and that's
The only prerequisite I think, Larry, is you got to be young at heart.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
and just know you're going to have a great time. Well, let's talk about the dining because again,
sure.
another unique Disney feature. When you arrive in your stateroom, there's a card there, and it has what your dining rotation is going to be. You'll be dining with three different restaurants during the cruise. And they keep changing the names, so I got to use my cheat sheet here. They are Tiana's Place, Rapunzel's Royal Table, and Animator's Palette. So each one has a different theme. Tiana's Palace, you're in like a garden in the evening outside the palace. The lights come down, there are lights. Now, you have a dining staff that two people that go with you, and they go to each of the dining rooms with you each night.
Yeah,
And so you have the same crew for the whole cruise, and they wear a different costume or different uniform for depending on which dining room you're in. So Tiana's Palace is one. Punzel's Royal Table, it's in a big restaurant that looks like a feast in a castle. And then finally, there's Animator's Palette, which is totally unique, and you're in the middle of an animator's studio. There are big screens around you, and Crush from Finding Nemo comes up and talks to the children, actually interacts, asks the kids their names, and then talks with them. So that's a totally unique experience.
no, it's absolutely amazing. What you said about the dining staff following you, that goes to establishing the relationship with the kids that those servers are looking after. They're
Mm-hmm.
with them for, upwards of 7 nights, and they treat them like gold.
When we're talking about kids, they have a very unique children's center where the kids can go anytime during the cruise. Our granddaughter was in tears leaving it every time. I mean, she wanted just to stay there because it's just they have Disney counselors, they have
Yeah,
all kinds of activities for them to do. It's very protected. They have wristbands, and you cannot you. The person who takes the children has to be the one that checks
yeah,
them out again. Their security is tremendous, so you don't have to worry about leaving your children there. And then if you have teens or tweens, they all have their own program. Matter of fact, one of the funnels of the ship is devoted just to the teens programs. So they are also wonderful programs that they
yeah.
really enjoy.
Yeah, the most common one I believe is called Oceaneer's Lab, and that's
Right,
where your 4-year-old granddaughter and my granddaughter spent a
right.
lot of time. You could barely pry them
Yes.
out of there. They had such a great time.
Yeah, it's really and
Yep,
a very unique thing is
yep,
when you get on board, if you have children, you're allowed to go in and tour that, and I encourage people to do that.
yep.
That'll be the only time you'll ever be able to get in there because they don't have they don't do not allow adults during the rest of the cruise.
Yeah, no, I recall that as well. It's a wonderful place. So something that most people don't talk about and is also unique to Disney, I think, is when you disembark, right?
Yeah, really a great surprise. I really never seen anybody talk about this, but most cruise ships, we get up early in the morning. If you're going to walk off, you go down and stand in line. If you put your luggage out, then you go find some place to eat, and then you go to a lounge or the theater and wait for them to call your number, and then you disembark. Disney, you go to the restaurant you were in the night before with your same crew again. You have breakfast, and when you're finished with breakfast, you get up, walk down to the terminal, and there are areas designated with your stateroom number on it. You don't have to pile through everybody's luggage looking for your luggage. It's right there with your number on it. You pick it up and you walk out, and that's it. I mean, it's tremendously civilized. It takes a lot of manpower to make that happen, but they do it, and so that's another unique Disney feature.
It's a great ending to a wonderful voyage.
It
Yeah.
is. It's you just feel so relaxed getting off. They don't say goodbye. They say until we see you again. That's always the thing on Disney.
Well, Larry, this has been great. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about Disney before we wrap
I'll
things?
just mention the adults only areas. There's
Yeah.
a whole deck and pool just for adults. There's a whole area in the bow of the ship down on the fifth deck, which has 3 to 4 or 5 bars, depending on what ship you're on, that are adults only. Each one has its own theme. They have dancing for late night dancing for adults. There are 2 fabulous restaurants, Paolo's and Remy's, which are really upscale dining, especially Paolo's. It's one of the best Italian meals. We were at Paolo's and we had finished dinner and we were waiting for dessert, and the show was about to begin. And you do not want to miss any Disney shows because these are
No.
full productions. The last one we were on, at the curtain call, I counted 42 people on the stage, and it's not a 5-piece orchestra with 4 singers or 4 dancers. But anyway, we were going to go to the show, and we had not had dessert. The crew says, "No problem. You go to the show. When you come back, your table will be ready, and we'll serve you dessert." It's that kind of attention to detail. So there's a lot of things for adults. One last thing that's unique on Disney is all of the theater screens. Movies are Disney movies that you've known and love on the television, so you can binge watch Disney's. And they also have one theater that shows first run movies. As a matter of fact, several movies have premiered aboard the Disney ships before they were in the theaters. So
All
you
right.
have all these. You have it's called the Buena Vista Theater. It'll drive you nuts because they have a popcorn machine, and when you walk past, all you can smell is the popcorn. But
Yeah, and you can stream all kinds of movies in your cabin, and they also
that's
have
right.
what's known as funnel vision, where you can sit out on the deck and just like in a big
Yeah,
drive-in theater, except you're on your
yeah,
pool
exactly.
lounger.
That is so much fun, and you
Yeah,
watch all of Fantasia, all
yeah,
the movies that you watched years ago, Pinocchio, the original,
yeah.
all of those. So it's really a lot of fun.
Well, Larry, this has been great. With that, I think we should probably get out of here today. Where are we
Right.
heading to next, Larry?
We're taking off in a couple weeks on Celebrity Equinox. She just came here to Port Canaveral. We've got her for a few months till April. We're so pleased to have Celebrity back here, or I mean, in Port Canaveral for the first time. So
Oh,
we're going to
perfect.
take 60 of our closest friends on a cruise, on a group cruise.
Well, that sounds great, Larry. We'll have to get together and talk about that. But until the next time, as they say on a Disney cruise line, until we see you again,
Thanks, Ken. Enjoyed it.
take care. And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Larry Jackson of Cruise Holidays of Viera. If you'd like to reach out to Larry about a Disney cruise, I will leave his contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach out to us with a question or a suggestion for a future video, you can send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com, visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this content, a like, subscribe, share, and ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps other folks just like you to find the channel. So until next time, happy travels.